Willie, first question on the right.
Derek, talk about big shots that you hit down the stretch and what the Celtics did, what they gave you, and what they didn't give you.
Looking to continue to be aggressive, even though I hadn't been able to knock down many shots early. But we saw some things we could accomplish by playing a little two-man game between Kobe and myself. And when Kobe sets a screen, his man is going to be very reluctant to help off of him. So it allows somebody else to get into the interior of their defense. And a couple times I made a pass or two, and a few other times I was able to knock down shots.
Michael, standing on the back right.
Derek, can you just talk about just the importance of getting this win, especially considering that you guys couldn't win here 2 years ago and just the way you left in Game 6? Was there any thoughts of just walking back here for the final game, considering what happened last time you were here?
Well, I think our thoughts are really just still on, how disappointed we are or were, losing that second game on our home court. And I think that had more of our attention and focus than what happened in 08. At the same time, we didn't doubt our ability to win here, although we hadn't done it in the playoffs. There have been some good, we had some good opportunities in the regular season to come in and play against this team. And, we understand when you want to be the best, you have to win wherever, whenever. And this is a good win for us tonight, but we want to continue to build on this and make the necessary adjustments to give ourselves another chance on Thursday.
Derek right here. Gary George, Derek, it looked like you guys were kind of stumbling in the end and looked like you're out of sync for the offense. What made you decide to take charge and take over the game?
I think we saw a good opportunity to get on the interior of their defense, through another route. We did a lot through Kobe in that third quarter, which really got us in trouble. In the first half, we were much better with our execution, ball movement, and it makes it hard for their defense when we're moving the ball and we're moving players. And in that third quarter, we weren't getting into our offense fast enough, which left Kobe having to do some things at the end of the clock that's not good. So, we saw some actions that allowed us to get into their defense early and just trust that, if something wasn't there, that I'd make the appropriate pass to, the open guy, and then we could still run our offense from there. And, like I said, when Kobe set the screen, his guy's not going to necessarily leave him, and left me some good opportunities.
Derek, with this big win, how do you take the momentum into the next game, and what do you do to keep going?
Realizing that, there are a lot of things that we can do much better. Obviously we feel good about this game, but, Ray Allen's not going to miss all of his shots on Thursday night. That's not going to happen. So there are other things that, we have to get more assists than 13. So we're going to have to play a much better game than we played tonight in order to have a chance to win on Thursday, which we knew after winning game 1, that we couldn't play the same game because this is a really good team. And, Thursday night they're going to come back with a renewed sense of, hunger and intensity and aggressiveness, and, we're going to have to be ready to battle all those things.
Derek, after Ray's performance in Game 2, what were some of the things you guys wanted to do defensively and were able to do defensively to contribute to the 0 for 13?
I understand, spots on the floor, where he's trying to get his shots off. We wanted to pick our spots to get a little bit more pressure, get Kobe a little closer to Rajon, to take away some of the sharp passing angles, where he can get that ball to Ray really fast, right in the shooting pocket. And from there, it's just, trusting that, if you keep making them work, you won't necessarily hit 8 out of 11 threes every night. And, we're obviously didn't expect him to go 0 for 13. But, it's a tough gig for him, to be honest, to run around offensively the way he has to, and then have to guard Kobe on the other end. that takes anybody's legs out, you know, takes my legs out chasing them. And so, you know, they're going to be nice maybe his legs aren't there because he's having to work so hard on both ends. But like I said, we won't see 0 for 13 on Thursday night, that's for sure.
Shelley?
Derek, what does it mean to you to have made such a contribution, such a difference in this game tonight, this season, in a game that you guys really, really need?
You know, it's tough to put into words. You know, I got a little bit emotional in my post-game interview right after the game, just because, you know, I love what I do, and I love helping my team win. And, you know, even when things maybe aren't going the way I'd like them to go, for a reason I can't control and some I can't, you know, I still pretty much keep my mouth shut and just keep doing my job and remain faithful that, you know, things will come around when they need to. And so, you know, to come through tonight again for this team, you know, 14 years in, and after so many great moments, it's always quite surreal and quite humbling to experience it again and do it again. But it's like being a kid, man. You just never get tired of that candy. And you know, tonight feels very good. And like I said, I'm happy, but you know, my thoughts are going to Thursday already.
Is it different because it was the 14th year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think as you grow in this game and you know, you put in the work that it's required to still be around 14 years later, you know, you start to recognize that being in this moment on this stage is not, it's not a given. It's not something that happens every season. And, you know, to have this opportunity, you know, just as a person, I don't think you ever want to look back in life and have any regrets about anything. And, you know, 5 or 10 years from now when I'm long gone, you know, I would have hated to feel like I didn't just do everything I could have to help my team and live with the consequences. And, you know, things have worked out well. And, you know, we have 2 more wins to get to really put a nice cap on it.
Yeah, Fish, can you, over here, can you talk about your coast-to-coast layup?
Well, you know, obviously at that time the clock is, I guess, our enemy and our friend. And so really, you know, because the Celtics have so many guys up the court, initially I was really just trying to advance the ball and get it over, you know, get it past half court before the 8-7 count. And, you know, I saw KG coming up, and, you know, the angle that he took, I knew I could get around him without stepping on the left sideline. And once I broke through him, you know, I saw that they didn't have anybody back at the basket. And so I just took the direct line. And, you know, had they got there and cut me off, I probably would have pulled it out. But I felt that I could, you know, get to the basket and get a good shot off before they could get to me. And I was just, you know, to see Powell's reaction and my teammates' reactions, that's why those moments feel so good to me. You know, hitting the floor didn't feel that good, to be honest, but, you know, Powell's reaction and Lamar and Kobe and what the guys were saying to me, that's why those things feel so good.
Ian, last question before Kobe.
Derek, what were you talking about with your teammates after that tough loss in the second game? And to try to keep everybody together in a positive state coming into this game. What were you saying?
Well, you know, I have, you know, people that I'm close to that give me things to read, you know, throughout the season, and in particular in the playoffs and the postseason. And I was reading a book that, you know, talked about companies and business and things that they try to do to, you know, keep everybody focused on what the goal is. And I've recently been reading a lot about trust. And so that's basically what we talked about, was trusting each other, trusting the triangle offense, trusting our coaches, you know, trusting that if you get into foul trouble, that the guy next to you or behind you can come in and get the job done, and that there's nothing to fear. Just go out there and give everything you have and trust that that'll be enough. And it was enough tonight, and I'm hopeful and trusting it'll be enough on Thursday.
Thank you, Derek. Kobe, you were out.